Well, good morning. Trucker Todd here, and time for another video. All right, folks, recently, I'm sure you remember the Love's drama. I went to a Love's in South Fort Worth, had some drama there. Didn't get, I emailed corporate, got kind of a half-hearted apology, didn't really feel good about it. Then I came to Lubbock, which is the Loves where I always talk good about. I've always had good experiences. And upon getting there, I realized that the people I dealt with in the past were not there anymore, and it was a whole new crew. I went on 3 separate occasions and was told, yeah, we're fixing to get you in. And then, oh, we got to cancel. Our mechanics have gone home for the day. So I did a video about that. I emailed corporate, and after doing that, I waited to hear back. I told y'all in the last video I did regarding this that if I heard from them, I would let you know how it went. Well, I've heard from them, and we got the repairs done, but it didn't go like we had hoped it would. So in this video, we're going to talk about that. I'm not even going to play the intro music on this because I want to jump right into it. I'll show you the receipt, what we did, and all of that. But before I do, give this video a thumbs up, share it on your social media platforms, and make sure that you're still subscribed. Along with that, well, what the heck, let's jump right in. Here we go. So they emailed me and sent me an apology, and that was kind of that. But then at 7:30 in the morning, I got a phone call, and they said, "Hey, Todd, we really want to make this right. We're sorry that you're having so much trouble. We've watched your videos, and we want to fix this somehow. When can you come in? Can you come today?" Well, no, I couldn't go that day. That was the day of my aunt's funeral. Can you come tomorrow? Nope, I couldn't go that day. My wife had an appointment. She's having some health issues again. And the summary of that is things are looking good now. We'll find out some more in 6 months. But for right now, everything's fine regarding my wife. So I said, how about the day after that? Or no. I said, how about that afternoon after we do her appointment that morning? They said, that'll be great. Call us 30 minutes before you're coming. We're going to clear the bay and you'll get priority. I said, okay. So I did exactly that. And I arrived at the Loves. I called them about noon. I got there at 12:48, according to them. And they pulled me straight in the bay, just like they said they would. Now, at this point, I'm really, really excited. I'm thinking, all right, I'm dealing with a good crew now. It was different people, even from the other day when I'd come in there. And so I'm really optimistic that things are going to go well. They said, hey, Todd, both our mechanics are out on a service call. So it's 2 techs doing 1 service call. And we're going to go ahead and start your oil change. And then when they get back, we'll have them put in your oil pressure sending unit, and we'll check your front brakes, because I told them I needed front brakes, I felt like. So they get the oil change done, sort of. And I say sort of because they said, yeah, we done the oil change already. We're just waiting on the techs to get back. And I said, well, I'm going to go put some stuff in my truck. I walked out there. They're still working on it. And so I let him know. I said, hey, they're still working on my truck. He said, oh, yeah, they're just doing some little stuff. Well, that's not done. But anyway, that's nitpicking. It gets better. So I sit there 2 or 3 hours, and the techs have come back, but they're not working on my truck. And 3 o'clock rolls around. They go, oh, well, we're going to go home. Actually, it was closer to about 4:30, I think. Anyway, I don't have my times right. So they said, you're going to have to come back tomorrow for us to put in this oil pressure sending unit and to do your brake job. I said, no, that'll be now my 4th trip there if I come back the next day. I've already done it 3 times now. I'm sorry, I'm wiggling and my gimbal's going nuts. And I said, I'm not coming back. Again, we got to get this done today. Well, Trucker Todd, we understand, and they call me Trucker Todd. We don't have anybody here that can do it. I said, all right. I said, I'm going to call that manager that's been emailing me. And they said, all right. So I called him, and he said, yeah, that's not right. Let me make a phone call. We'll get back with you. So then he calls the general manager. This was the district manager I was talking to. General manager says, we're having a tech come in to do your brake job. Now, these guys, and I don't want to start name calling, but I've got drum brakes on the front of my truck, and they did their estimate with disc brakes. So that tells you how thorough of an inspection they did. But before we get to the point where I called the mechanics, they go, well, we looked at your brakes. We think they'll be okay for another 3 or 4 weeks. Said, we'll just do it next time you're in town. They even suggested leaving the ticket open and closing it when I came back. I said, well, you know, my oil pressure sending unit's leaking. The gauge ain't working. I've gone to Freightliner. I've bought the part. I'd like to get this stuff done. I don't want to come back. And they said, oh, we've looked at them and everything's fine. I said, are you confident enough that if I left here, if I got a DOT inspection and I got put out of service, that you'd be willing to come do that road service at no additional expense to me? Well, no, we can't do that. I said, are you confident enough that if I were to get into an accident and I were to get sued, that you would cover my liability and legal expenses for any accidents that might result from these brakes not being replaced, and also cover SRO Logistics and any liability they might or might not have? Oh, well, no, we can't do that. I said, well, then we want the brakes done. And that's when I got the manager's number and called him and told him what was going on. And then he called the general manager, and she called me back. And so then they come in, and while they're waiting for the mechanic to come back in, they take the front tires off. Mechanic gets there, they pull the drums. The pads were, like I said, they were due. They needed to be replaced. They're not 3 or 4 weeks from now, right now. But here's the kicker. The drums were cracked too. Now, all of you know that that's a big no-no. This definitely was a brake job that needed to be done. And so then I come back with the "see, I told you so." I said, now, looking at these brake drums, do you think I could have waited 3 or 4 more weeks? Oh, no, you definitely needed them. I said, looking at those pads, do you think those could have waited 3 or 4 more weeks? No, those definitely need to be replaced. I said, do these look like disc brakes to you? No, they're definitely drums, Trucker Todd. I said, do you feel like you gave me some bad advice? Absolutely. I said, could your bad advice have potentially been dangerous? Well, I don't know about that. I wouldn't say dangerous. Could it have put me in jeopardy with a DOT officer, or had I got into an accident? Possibly. I could definitely see why you're concerned about this. So I'm telling you all this not to toot my own horn or to say, oh, look how good I am, or nothing like this. I'm telling you this because just because a shop tells you something, don't take it to the bank and think, okay, that's fine, I trust them. Get out and visually look at stuff. This is why pre-trips and post-trips are so important, and why you need to know your equipment and know when there's a problem. These shops are going to do what's best for them. And as I shared in a previous video, they're paid commission. And so that's important to them when they're on the clock. But when it gets close to time to go home, they're going to tell you whatever they've got to tell you to get you out of there so they can go home. They want to go home just like you do when you've got home time scheduled. Your safety and your CDL are in your hands. And so you need to look at your equipment. You need to be aware of what's going on. And if you think there's a problem, hey, I could have been wrong about the brakes, but I was going to walk out there and look. I was going to know for sure. And as we look at this ticket, I'm getting ready to pull it up and show you. It added some substantial costs. The oil change, I did their ultimate oil change with just regular oil. I didn't do synthetic or semi-synthetic. Mobile Delvac, that and putting in that sensor was a little over $500. You'll see here with the brakes, with the drums and the pads, it added another $1,400. We're at $1,960. I spent $120 at the Freightliner dealer. So we're talking about $2,080 for an oil change, front brakes, and to put that sensor in. And a lot of you are probably thinking, well, Todd, why didn't you put that oil pressure sending unit in? It's in a weird place, and the part that you unscrew the head of the nut is underneath a plug, and I was afraid I'd get in there and break off that plug, and the sensor's $100, and I didn't want to risk doing damage or tearing something up, so I just let them put that in. But anyway, let's jump to the receipt and get this video wrapped up for you. But I would say that management was decent in this situation. I would say that the mechanics at now 2 Love's locations in a row are not great. And, you know, I'm not sure what to do. I've traditionally had better luck at TA and Petro, but I think I'm going to heed the advice of some of you guys, and I think I'm going to start looking for an independent shop to do my services, things like that. You guys know I know some owners of trucking companies and things like that. I might see about partnering with one of them and seeing if they could take over the services on my truck or something along that lines. But this video is getting long in a hurry, so I'm going to stop talking and let's jump into this receipt. And then I'll come back with some final thoughts and get y'all out of here. Here we go. Alrighty, here's the first page of the receipt. And right away, you'll see a lack of attention to detail. I've blotted out some of the information, like my account number, things like that. But you'll see on the parts that you can see that they've got some incorrect information. The mileage is over 200,000 miles off. And there's some other stuff there. The start and stop times are incorrect. And so just a total lack of attention to detail. And so anyway, they did in the complaint area, they did list that I was getting an oil change with Mobile Delvac. They did not, however, list the oil pressure sending unit or to check and advise on the brakes. So a little disappointing that there wasn't more attention to detail. But I guess, you know, we could talk about that, and we're going to in the next video. I'm going to talk about tariffs and things like that. We're going to talk about what's got us to this point. As far as the oil change, down in the description, they show Rotella down there. I don't know if that's the reasoning for that. And there's no way to know if they put the right oil in there or not. If I call them and ask them, they're going to go, oh yeah, that's a typo. We put the right oil. But anyway, they do show Rotella down here. They show 44 quarts, which is 11 gallons. And my cost on that was $153.60. They show an oil filter for $32.97. They show grease for $7 and a penny. They show 2 fuel filters, one of them for $65.47, one of them for $27.57, and then they show another oil filter for $74.73, and then $16.99 in fees. They show 0.8 hours to install that oil pressure sending unit, which seems a little on the high side, but that was 107 89. It was supposed to be 134.86. They did looks like they reduced that some. And then the brakes. Here's where I feel like I got taken advantage of. And maybe it's been a while since I did a brake job. Maybe this is reasonable. The brake kit itself, which would be the pads, two of them at 146.61, makes it 293.21. Replace the brakes, the labor, 393.81. Then the brake drums themselves worked out to 557.25 for both of those. And then we've got another C/A brake charge of 80.92. They did put the parts run on here. They removed that. So you'll see some charges on here that I did get refunded back to me. The parts run, they charged for 30 miles. It ain't 30 miles to the Freightliner dealer at 75 cents a mile. And they've charged 0.71 labor. I may be reading that wrong. Anyway, $14.15 in labor, in mileage charges. Maybe that's 20 miles round trip. That might be right. And then they charge shop supplies of $31.64. Let me get to that screen. There we go. Parts run, or total parts for price, $1203.11. Total parts for labor, I got tongue tied all of a sudden. Total labor charges of $711.71. Total fees of $48.63. Customer discount 0. Site discount 106.24. That's where they gave me those discounts. Taxes $97.80. Made my total $1955.01. I realized earlier I said $1960. They refigured it, and that's it ended up being $5 cheaper. So it was the $1955.01. Then I spent $120 at Freightliner on parts. My washer fluid reservoir cap was bad, so I got one of those in this sensor, and that's how the part itself was like $100, and then it was like $10 for the washer fluid cap, and then it was like $10 in taxes. So let me come back with some final thoughts, and we'll wrap this video up. Well, I think it's safe to say that I'm still disappointed. I would have liked to have seen maybe a price break on the labor or something for the additional time wasted for the total of 3 different trips to there, and just the headache. I didn't get any of that. I did get the service completed. Truck does seem to be running better, doing better, and I feel more confident now that I've got good brakes and I've got new filters and new oil and all of that. Am I going to return to this Love Shop in Lubbock again? The sad truth is, at some point in time, I'll probably have to return there. The tire discount that SRO Logistics has works best at Love's, and so I probably will at some point find myself there again. Hopefully by that time they've made some positive changes and it's a better experience. But generally speaking, I'm going to do my best to avoid Love's, maybe for 6 months or so. They've obviously got some problems, some things going on there that they need to work out. And so hopefully they get that done. You guys know I like going to Love's. I like their fuel. My ES Advantage card works well there. By the way, we're going to have to do a video before too long, talk about ES Advantage again. But yeah, right now, I still don't get that warm, fuzzy feeling about Love's that I would have liked to have had. I appreciate that they made an effort to make things right, but somehow they managed to drop the ball again. All right, folks, have a great day. I'll be back in a couple of days with that other video about tariffs and how it's going to affect trucking and things like that. Y'all have a great day, and thanks for watching. Bye-bye.